Alright, so Tory scum Boris Johnson is officially out as the leader of the Conservative Party and soon to be out as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So, earlier today we got word that he has officially announced his resignation, so I got a breakdown here from Vox in terms of what exactly went wrong, what caused this, and what are the next steps going to be. So, here to start us off with some of the details, they say Boris Johnson is out after a dizzying few days of fresh scandals and mass cabinet resignations. The British Prime Minister announced his resignation on Thursday, marking the close of his leadership of the Conservative Party nearly 3 years after he took on the job. And as Prime Minister, he officially took the UK out of the European Union after years of a divisive Brexit debate, and he led the Conservatives to a historic general election victory in 2019. But Johnson could not overcome the latest revolt from his own Conservative Party. The scale of the discontent over a slew of scandals alongside an inflation crisis and poor election results proved insurmountable for Boris Johnson. And they say Johnson, in his resignation speech, indicated that he will stay on as Prime Minister until a successor is chosen, a process that will likely conclude sometime in the late summer or early autumn, so could be still the technical Prime Minister of the UK for the foreseeable future here. But as they're saying here, a lot of Conservatives are basically saying that this is too much of a political liability and they want him to be gone right now. So, rest in peace to Boris Johnson. But he had a quote here of what he was saying when he was officially announcing his resignation, and he said, "I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world, but them's the breaks." And yeah, I mean, those are the breaks indeed, Mr. Johnson. But they continue here saying Johnson's tenure as Prime Minister began unraveling over the last few months, but his ouster came very rapidly. For over half a year, Johnson has faced Partygate allegations, which alleged parties had been hosted at his Downing Street offices during the worst of the COVID-19 crisis, when England was having their very strict lockdown rules, kind of similar to, like Nancy Pelosi and, Nancy Pelosi going to get her hair done, and gruesome Gavin Newsom coming out and doing his little parties during the lockdown. So, we've seen a lot of that overlapping here in the United States as well, but that was just one of the scandals that he's been facing recently. They also say after some electoral setbacks, Johnson's party staged a no confidence vote against the Prime Minister, which he survived, but very, not convincingly so, as they say here, and really barely survived it. But they say then, in recent days, the government's chief deputy whip, Chris Pincher, was accused of groping two men, which resurfaced other allegations against him. And Johnson at first denied knowing about these past allegations when he promoted Pincher, until it came out that he did in fact know about Pincher's past. So basically just outright lied about knowing that this guy was a sex offender when he appointed him or promoted him to one of the higher level positions within his office. But they continue saying those revelations prompted the resignations of 2 senior cabinet officials, which then set off resignations en masse from Johnson's government. I think it was like 60 people were resigning from positions within his government in literally like a day or two. So historic levels of, fake friends jumping ship here from Boris Johnson. But they continue saying Johnson, abandoned by his party and urged by the remaining members of his government to step aside, finally conceded defeat. And finally, they say Johnson's departure, at least for now, means that the next battle among the Conservatives will be for the leader of the party, and that contest will play out over the coming weeks, potentially with quite a few prospective candidates throwing in their name, and earlier general elections, which could change the balance of power in Parliament, can't be ruled out, but they're not happening right now. And who emerges from this contest will say a lot about the future of the Conservative Party and just how much influence that Johnson may have had in shaping it. So again, at the end of the day, he's resigning. Fuck Boris Johnson. Nobody should miss him, but also whoever is going to be taking his place from the Conservative Party is likely not going to be that much better in terms of like their actual policy approach to government or their ideological framework. So it's not really necessarily going to be a big improvement for the left or for the general population, the working class population within the United Kingdom. But still, rest in peace, Boris Johnson. Good luck on your way out, I guess. But we got to take here from Jeremy Corbyn, who was one of the former Labour leaders who basically got absolutely shafted in a similar capacity to how the Democratic Party shafted Bernie Sanders here in the United States. But he said Johnson is the 3rd PM to fall in 6 years because there is no solution to the deep economic and environmental crisis that we face that picks our pockets and steals our future. Real change isn't a new Tory PM, but a new politics to redistribute wealth and power. So, I mean, listen, You guys in the UK obviously would have been much better off having somebody like Jeremy Corbyn as the leader of the Labour Party and as the Prime Minister of the UK. But unfortunately, again, he got shafted by a repeated smear campaign, both from within his own party and from the media in the UK. So, that's just the situation and how it played out. So, unfortunately, for average working class people within the United Kingdom, you're either going to be left with, a new Tory leader who's not going to be substantially better than Boris Johnson on actual policy. But the alternative to that is maybe in a dream scenario, you have some elections that are moved up and then you're able to, take back power of the parliament. So, there's, I guess, a glimmer of hope there, but nonetheless, you still have the complete failure of leadership from Keir Starmer in the Labour Party. They're moving away from actually trying to represent working class people and really being like the neoliberal shills that the Democratic Party leadership here in the United States is. So, unfortunately, even with the resignation of an absolute clown like Boris Johnson, not going to be that much better of a situation, but nonetheless, rest in peace, Boris Johnson. You absolutely will not be missed.